Welcome back to another episode on the Dr. WashBrains podcast. I am Dr. Akash Sehgal, and today we are diving into something that is pretty easy to overlook: sunlight. The sun is that bright ball of fire we see and or sometimes we don't see enough of. Something that is 150 million kilometers from the earth, which has a huge impact on our health. Specifically, we are going to talk about how sunlight helps our bodies make vitamin D and why this matters for how we feel. There's a lot to cover, especially if you live in a place where sunshine is not always guaranteed or you are heading to one. Considering that winters are approaching, I believe you need to listen to this. We will break it all down, talk science, share some tips, and cover what you need to know about staying healthy and happy even when the sun is in short supply. Let's dive in. All right, first things first. What happens when we get out in the sun? When sunlight hits our skin, something pretty cool happens though. There's this compound in our skin called 7-dehydrocholesterol, which gets transformed into vitamin D3 when it is exposed to UVB rays, the kind of rays we get from sunlight. Your body takes that vitamin D3 and sends it to your liver, where it gets converted into something called calcidiol. But even then, it is not fully ready to be used. After your liver, it moves to your kidneys, where it turns into calcitriol, the active form of vitamin D that your body can eventually use. What does all this mean, though? Well, that active vitamin D is like a multitasking superhero. It helps you absorb calcium, which keeps your bones strong. It supports your immune system, and here is where the mood factor comes in. It also influences brain chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. These are the feel good chemicals that help you regulate your mood, keep you calm, and help you feel balanced. So, when you're low on vitamin D, you can end up feeling not just physically off, but mentally and emotionally off too. Now, before you rush off to get all the sun or take doses of vitamin D supplements, here is something important. Too much vitamin D, especially from supplements, can cause problems. You could end up with something called hypercalcemia, which basically means too much calcium in your blood. It can make you feel nauseous, weak, or even affect your heart and kidneys. So, balance is key over here. Always check with a doctor before loading up on supplements. So, what happens when you live somewhere that does not get a lot of sun? Think places like Norway, Sweden, or even Canada. These places have long, dark winters where the sun might not come up for days, or at least not enough to give you that UVB exposure you need. This lack of sunlight can lead to something called seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. It's a type of depression that comes and goes with the seasons, usually starting in the fall and sticking around until spring. About 5 to 10% of people in these areas get SAD or SAD, but in the most northern parts, it can hit up to 20%, and that is a lot of people. The symptoms are tough. You might feel sluggish, sleep way more than usual, lose interest in things you usually enjoy, or even gain weight. It is like regular depression, but it is triggered by the seasons. Now, people living in these regions have some tricks to keep their vitamin D levels up. Let me walk you through a few. The first being vitamin D supplements. In countries like Finland, for example, it is actually recommended by the government to take vitamin D supplements from October to March. This helps to fill the gap when sunlight is not enough. Next, we've got is light therapy, and it is a big one. Light therapy boxes, which simulate natural sunlight, are super popular in Scandinavian countries. You use them for about 20 to 30 minutes every morning to help regulate your body's clock, or what we call the circadian rhythm. And this can really lift your mood. In countries like Norway and Sweden and other Nordic countries, people eat a lot of foods that naturally contain vitamin D, like fatty fish. Think salmon and mackerel, liver, and even fortified dairy products. This is a way to get vitamin D from your food when the sun is not cutting it. And now, if you're planning to visit one of these places during the dark months, make sure you are prepared. Bring a good vitamin D supplement, especially if you're not used to low light conditions. Consider packing a small light therapy device. It might sound extreme, but people swear by it. And of course, eat a balanced diet with foods that give you a natural boost of vitamin D. But let's zoom out a bit and look at how winter depression affects not just individuals but also entire health systems. For individuals, SAD can take a serious toll. It is not just about feeling down, it can mess with your ability to work, focus, and enjoy life. You might find yourself sleeping way more, feeling tired all the time, craving carbs, and gaining weight. Trust me, it's a lot. On a larger scale, this hits the public health systems hard too. A study published in BMC Public Health estimated that SAD related costs, including medical treatment and lost productivity, can eat up to 10% of mental health budgets in Northern Europe. Just think about that. That 10% of an entire mental health budget is going to something that is many ways preventable. Well, the good news is that there are ways to manage winter depression. Some strategies that can really help include getting outside. Even if it is cold or cloudy, getting outside can help. Natural light, even on overcast days, can still make a difference. Try for at least 20 minutes a day, and if possible, do it in the early hours of the morning. As we have mentioned earlier, light therapy. This is one of the most effective treatments for SAD. A good light therapy box can simulate sunlight and help reset your body's clock. Use it first thing in the morning for almost 20 to 30 minutes. Next up, you need to stay physically active. Physical activity can make a big difference in how you feel. Exercise releases endorphins, the body's natural mood lifters, and can help reduce stress and anxiety. You need to make sure that your diet is well balanced. A balanced diet rich in omega 3 fatty acids can support brain function and mood regulation. Salmon, walnuts, flax seeds, they are great sources. Also, make sure you're getting enough vitamin D, whether through food or supplements. Now, during those winter months, it is very easy to isolate yourself, especially when you're feeling down. But staying connected with friends and family is one of the best things that you can do. Social interactions can help lift your mood and remind you that you are not alone. All right, personal story time. Now I'm staying in Germany. Um, I would take a hot cup of coffee, black, all black, add some amount of salt in it, and I would have it as early as I can. Imagine, like, if I'm waking up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. in the morning, it is crazily overcast, but still, those 20 minutes in the day when I would be having that coffee would end up regulating my mood for almost the next 3 days. Pick your morning drink, whatever it is, be it tea, be it coffee, and head out. Then I made sure that my diet was fulfilled. Raisins, cashews, walnuts, almonds. I would make sure that I would have enough dry fruits. And because I was studying over there, my social interactions were anyway on a high. And this includes social interactions in the gym. Does not matter if I'm going to the gym at 4:30 a.m. in the morning or 4:30 p.m. in the morning. Just saying a hello, a very kind hello, especially to somebody whom you see first in the gym, makes your entire gym routine, your entire workout tremendously different. Now, let's get real for a second. Sometimes self help strategies are not enough. If your symptoms last more than 2 weeks or they are interfering with your life, your work, relationships, or overall happiness, it is time to reach out for professional help. And trust me, there is no shame in that. If you start feeling hopeless, notice major weight changes, or have thoughts of self harm, seek help immediately. A psychologist or psychiatrist can guide you through treatments like cognitive. A psychologist or psychiatrist can guide you through treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy, which has been proven to help with SAD. They might also recommend medication depending on the severity of your symptoms. So, where is all this heading? Researchers are digging deeper into the connection between vitamin D, light, and mood. We're learning more about how our genetics might influence how we react to light therapy or how much vitamin D we need. Future therapies might be personalized, helping people get more effective treatments based on their individual biology. We're also discovering that vitamin D is not just about mood and bones. It is looking like vitamin D might play a role in preventing chronic illnesses. from heart disease to autoimmune disorders, but it is still early days. But the potential is pretty exciting. So, here is the takeaway: sunlight does a lot more than just warm us up. It is key to keeping our bodies and minds in balance. Whether you live in a sunny spot or somewhere that barely sees the sun, it is important to stay aware of your vitamin D levels and take steps to keep them where they need to be. That might mean getting outside, eating the right foods, using light therapy, or just listening to your body. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Dr. WashBrains podcast. If this episode helped you, feel free to subscribe and leave a review. Take care of yourself out there. Stay sunny, inside and out, and do not hesitate to seek help when you need it. This is Dr. Akash Sehgal, and you were listening to the Dr. WashBrains podcast.